Well, hi Matthew, lovely to be speaking to you today. I wondered if you could just start by telling us a little bit about your company and the products or services that you're going to be showcasing at GESS Dubai this year.
Absolutely. Thank you, Millie. Savaas Learning Company is a K-12 solutions provider geared towards American curriculum, Common Core, but we also work with quite a lot of IB schools around the world. And this year in particular, we are looking at our career and technical education offerings, as well as our Savaas Studio AI tool, which is a new AI tool for teachers embedded in our math programs. The tool allows teachers to very quickly customize lesson plans, generate and customize lesson plans, differentiation, assignments, and using local examples, multiple languages, different grade levels of reading while we're still trying to service a specific grade level of mathematics. So, for example, if you're working with grade 3 math, but not all your students are on a grade 3 reading level, we can generate assignments now with a click of a button, a few easy prompts into those differentiation groups. So it really allows teachers a lot more flexibility and freedom than they've ever had before to provide engaging examples for their students and examples that students can master, mathematically without struggling through the language issues that they might have as an international school or as a school in other markets where English might not be the native language, but that is the language of instruction.
Amazing. It's great how sort of customizable you can make it per student.
Per
That's really cool.
student, per group, per large group, small group instruction. Assessments can be done this way now. So for the example I always use, and I'll be speaking with two of our teachers from Abu Dhabi, where their students are local Emirati students, and especially the boys are all into camel racing. So I say, fine, generate a lesson plan around camel racing, and we do it in literally 5 seconds. They have a 30-minute lesson or a 20-minute lesson, whatever it is, featuring the core mathematical skills, but each example is around a specific aspect of camel racing. And you can do it in local currency. So instead of the default US dollar, which would be normally in our programs and our assignments, you can now change that to Emirati dirhams or Saudi riyals. So it's a very, very powerful tool to drive engagement and hopefully ultimately results.
Absolutely. I think my next question actually sort of dives into what you've just touched on, and it's what makes your brand stand out in the industry and what the unique value it brings to your customers.
Yeah, I mean, I think Savas is really truly we tag ourselves as a next generation learning company, but I do think that's the what we live up to. We are a digital first company. To shift slightly into the career and technical education courses, which we're also showcasing. The CTE courses are absolutely unbelievable. We have intro to AI, we have robotics, we have gaming and esports, we have cyber security, we have cryptocurrency. These are real world topics with a lot of them coming with real world certificates for high school students, all the way from grades 8 to 12, can start taking these to really understand their pathway towards a career, and really enter into the sort of the career mindset much earlier than students do right now. And these are video driven courses, digital courses, up to date, current, exciting. Again, it's all about driving student engagement, right? We don't want students to sit there and think, why am I learning this? We want them to know why they're learning this because they want to go into a career in robotics or virtual augmented reality. So these are the courses that we're now offering. And it's really some of the first courses in the UAE, rolling these out into the schools. So we're really excited about that as well.
That's really cool, especially as I think particularly in sort of UAE and the Middle East region, there's so many advances in the digital space. So it's really cool to be bringing out something so unique into it.
Yeah, the
And what
UAE
are
is
you?
leading the charge. I mean, it's great.
Yeah.
Like we happen to be living in the, if you look at the AI adoption rate across corporates, it's percentage wise, I think it's the highest in the world. In
Yeah.
terms of leaders that are adopting AI in the corporate world, in the corporate sector. So of course we need that to be in the schools as well. And again, the UAE has been a leader on that. So we're very happy to be offering these courses.
For sure. Yeah. And what are you most excited about sort of showcasing and demonstrating at this year's Guest to Buy event?
Yeah, I mean, again, it is about the conversations, right? These are
Mhm.
new offerings that we have. We are piloting the AI Savaas Studio with a group of schools in Abu Dhabi, charter schools, so through New Century Education. So that's exciting. We'll be having that conversation. And with the career and technical education, we're really just excited to understand how schools are tackling the issue, how they're preparing students for maybe not necessarily a university life cycle, because that might not be the pathway that those students want to take. So we're now offering, an alternative path where we can give professional certificates, as I mentioned, and really get students engaged. And then if they do want to go to the university, we have advanced academic courses that they can earn university credits for. Before they enter university. So it really is about building these pathways, right? And making sure that students are understanding from as early age as possible their options and their alternatives, and not just going down the conveyor belt, and going into, an expensive university education that might not be suited for them. That we're not saying that we shouldn't have expensive university educations; they're fine. But those should be suited for the students that really want to go into the medical professions and engineering. But there's a whole host of other options out there now. So I think that's what we want to present, and we want to show those different pathways to students really as early as grade 6, grade 7, grade 8.
That's very true. And I mean, I can only speak from like growing up and being at school and the UK, but there, and I don't know how much has changed now, but it was very much just like you go to uni after school.
Right.
And there was like starting to people starting to talk about like apprenticeships, but I don't know, was it very sort of one track path for the
Mhm.
most people? And so it's really cool to see how that's changing now because it's not the best way for every person. There's so many different routes people can take. So
Yeah, and I think, look, I think it'll allow universities to focus on what they do best a little bit more. They might feel a certain hit in the beginning because they don't have the volume of students perhaps entering into the university over the next. But I think ultimately that'll let them focus on what they do best, which is, in the end of the day, research, training high level professionals in fields like engineering, like law, like medicine, and that's great. And those needs will not go away. But when we're talking about a lot of the private sector jobs, especially in the region, there's a common complaint from industry that school and university are not preparing the students for their careers. And I think that's a problem we want to tackle. And we want to partner with industry. We want industry's feedback. We want them to say, these are the skills we need to really to drive our business in the next 5 to 10 years. So we will start those students on that pathway, much earlier, and then those students and give them an understanding. If that's important as well. We have career exploration courses which allow students to delve into different careers, not just to understand what those careers look like and what the options within those careers are, but what skills and training are going to be necessary to get there.
yeah. And what are some of the challenges that you're sort of seeing in the industry right now, and how do you think Savas is addressing those?
Look, I think the challenges in the industry are what we're all facing, right? The speed of
Mm.
change. The world is changing faster than ever before. I don't think social media and AI have changed the fundamentals of our lives, except the speed, the exacerbation of how quickly things can be done. We've seen it in the last 2 years with ChatGPT and Gemini and the others. The speed of which this has taken over is mind-boggling, right? And so, I think we do have challenges with that, but we are fortunate. We have a very strong leadership team. We have a CEO who knows exactly where the company should be going. She's wonderful. She's driven. And the AI tools that we are, rolling out as Savas really are designed for teachers and students and around the questions that have always been asked. I've been asked for I've been in this region for 20 years. I've been asked for 20 years, can I have an easier reading level for my students in math and science? And the answer is always like, well, no, these are the books, right? But now you can. Now you can create that lesson plan in 30 seconds with an easier, more accessible, more digestible example, but the math is still rigorous, right? So that to me is a game changer. And I think, the challenges, like I said, that we face are the ones we're all facing, but with a clear mindset and a clear strategy, then I think that's how we've differentiated ourselves in the market.
Amazing. And just to wrap up, I don't know if there's any sort of particular case studies or testimonials you want to share of people using Savaas and how it's really helped them.
Well, I'll tell you what we're going to do is we're going to have a interview with the two, or I should say a panel discussion with two of the teachers from New Century. So once we have that, we'll see what they say. And that'll be my testimonial, hopefully, because they are the only school outside of the United States piloting the Sava Studio this year. We have districts in the US that are, heavily invested in our company and are piloting it. But yeah, so the UAE is the only school district outside the States right now that are piloting these tools. And so we'll let them give the testimonial.
Oh, we look forward to seeing what they think. And yeah, we're very excited to be seeing you guys next week at GESS Dubai.
Great. Thank you
Yeah.
so much, Millie. We're looking forward to it. It's always a great event.
Thank you for your time. Lovely to speak to you.
You as well.